What's going on? Welcome back to Fanatic Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Rivian. Pretty exciting day so far. I want to give you an overview of some of the current data points, what's really driving it higher, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with that said, let's get right to it. So right now, Rivian is up 13.96%. Tons of volume. So 101 million shares have been traded so far. 47 is the average. And all of this hype did occur pretty much midway through the day as soon as this kind of event did kick off. So Rivian did initially unveil the R2 and then had a surprise R3 and R3X, so more of a crossover. So that's huge. And even besides, not even counting the R3, because I don't think we have much specs on that, but when it comes to the R2, I have said time and time again, that is massive. You cannot go wrong with 45,000. Almost in any market, anywhere in the world, that will be huge. And so I think that's going to be a good thing going forward. Of course, it is going to be in the first half of 2026. This article that did come out also states that they saved a ton of money, so about 2.25 billion, and that's from pausing construction in the plant in Georgia. So I think right now Rivian is doing things right, even though a lot of people, including myself, were not really satisfied with their recent earnings. But I think Rivian is doing it correct by at least controlling a lot of their expenses, and of course that'll just help towards profitability so much faster. And in reality, the R2 is going to be huge, so that's going to be a big thing. And so in today's unveiling, it was pretty good, and I want to just show you 1 minute of this clip. It was posted on Twitter under 𝗪𝗧𝗪, and this is where the R3 did get unveiled. So pretty cool stuff.
And I'm really excited to talk about R2's sibling, which we call R3.
Mind you, it is interesting that they didn't really change the configuration of the front lights though, and just overall of the R3, not knocking it or anything, I just don't really like the appearance of it. Again, I don't really know much specs about it at this stage, but still.
So you didn't expect that one more thing here. So R3 is, we're so excited about what this sort of delivers beyond what we see in R2. It takes the package of R2 and the platform, it shrinks it, it puts it into our take on what is a crossover. And it's a vehicle that's almost hard to define what it is, but it so beautifully captures our brand, it captures what we represent as a company. It's dynamically incredible. The shorter wheelbase, the tighter dimensions, really enable it to be something that's maneuverable and drivable. But as tidy as it is on dimensions on the outside, we've put so much effort into making sure that the inside feels big.
I actually think that the R3 might be better suited for maybe the European market due to the size, but I could be wrong. So regardless though, I think that's a pretty cool thing. As far as what shorts are doing, they are increasing slightly. So 348,000 shares are being increased. 17.68% of the free float is being shorted, and that works out to be 121.47 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 0.89%. There is some signs of manipulation. I've brought this up in the past, but cost to borrow is minimum, or cost to borrow minimum is negative, I guess I should say it. So it is negative 0.1%, meaning there is a broker out there physically paying people to short Rivian. As messed up as that is, options have been on fire, so tons of money has been getting in. $48 million in calls being purchased versus 9.59 million in puts. Sentiment wise, 61% of all the options being done so far are optimistic, and no doubtably it was associated to clearly the unveiling. Leading up to the unveiling, I did post on Twitter, there was an abnormal amount of bearish options being purchased at the $8 strike price. So clearly some people were anticipating maybe for this to flop, essentially. I'm not really sure, but now you do see a lot of $14 and plus, even $15 ones right here. So a lot of big money is getting into Rivian, and of course you can kind of even see this based on just physical shares, not even counting options. So these are some of the transactions that did occur so far on the secondary market above $100,000. So big money is very much getting into Rivian today. But quickly going back over to options, so of the call options that are being purchased, there's a consensus for it to be roughly around $13 plus by the end of this week. But vice versa, looking at puts, you do see it anticipated to be sub $11. So kind of opposite extremes. I don't really see this being feasible, or potentially when this was purchased, maybe this was leading up to the event, but I don't see $11 in the cards as of right now. Looking here, so talking on some technicals briefly, with it at $12.43, it is between this R2 and this R3. So it did bounce off of this R3. So 12.77 is a very strong resistance level that we do know now, because the high so far today was 12.74, but it is retracing slightly. So you'll want to watch for this 12.11 to hold. We're currently in power hour, so that's going to be a lot of volatility. Then aside from that, 11.71, and who knows, like it kind of bounced from this pivot point to this R3, so a lot of volatility, and no doubtably that is going to continue in the foreseeable future. So let me know your thoughts, for instance, on their cost savings as well as the R2 and that new crossover, the R3 and R3X. Do you think that's advantageous, or what's your take on all of that? And quickly going over here, just wanted to talk on some technicals. So I did download the new Interactive Brokers desktop, so I highly recommend you guys doing that because it is pretty kick-ass, has all of this information, and it is very much free. So click on the link in the description below and also the comments. But looking on the technicals, so it is still lower percentile of the boiling band. And then looking at stochastic, you do see a nice deviation, so that blue line above the orange, so that does show a underlying bullish sentiment, and plus it kind of insinuates a nice breakout potentially coming. So all in all, I do feel that Rivian does have a lot of room, and if it does and is able to successfully transition from the lower to the higher percentile, then this is where bigger and better things can be coming right down the pipeline. And so potentially running back up to $16 is very realistic, at least in the short term. But then again, I could be wrong. Looking as far as any analyst ratings, so there was a new one that came out yesterday. So with Jefferies, Philippe, who has a 61% success rating, and within EVs, that is kind of good. Normally a lot of EV analysts have very bad ratings, but they did give a $16 price target, initiated coverage, so brand new rating. So I think all in all, that is a fairly good thing. And even if you zoom out and look overall, they do have a consensus of $17.62, which does represent a 41% upside. And quickly going over here, the latest Morningstar report still does show the fair market value. It has gone down a little bit, but it shows a fair market value, meaning just the assets, being $25.77. So with it right now at $12.41 right here, this is a screaming buying opportunity. But then again, I'm not a financial advisor, so give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with Rivian over the last little bit? But one final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for an account with me, we throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So make sure you definitely take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.